Look at the ICE situation. This ICE facility, it's under attack. It's under siege, right? And it's not just a Steven Seagal movie anymore. It's real. It's happening in real life. The violent left is not going to be stopped. And folks, it's very simple. If we don't see action here, then the left, the violent left, the Antifa left, will receive a message as well, the same way as an unruly child will. Go ahead and do more. You're allowed. They will declare open season on ICE, on Trump supporters, prominent Trump supporters. It's already happening. And I wish that I could talk about something else. I wish that I could get into other situations, but frankly, folks, this is the topic. This is the story. You have to understand this. They're coming for you. They're coming for ICE agents, and they will not stop and they will not quit on their own. They will only respond to action. And it's really as simple as that. Action must be taken. I'm talking about, and by the way, they all knew that this was going to happen. So let's go, guys. Everyone gets a knock on the door. Here's what it looks like. Everyone gets a knock on the door. If you're planning one of these things, if you're a member of one of these Antifa domestic terrorist organizations, if you're fanning the flames of violence like our vice president said yesterday, we understand what that looks like. You get a knock on the door. Hey, we see you. Hey, keep your nose clean. Hey, we're watching. We're watching your every move. It needs to be persistent. We saw this during COVID. We saw this after J6 when they were arresting patriots by the hundreds. We know what it looks like when the FBI wants to put pressure on networks. And there were so many people who got knocks on the doors after that weren't even involved with J6. They were tangentially involved. There were so many people who were called up to Capitol Hill, were forced to testify. Like, oh, by the way, Charlie Kirk used to sit in that chair before they killed him. And even Tyler Boyer, who's under indictment in Arizona. We know what it looks like. You haul them up. Haul them all up. Again and again and again. You have to keep the pressure on. You have to keep the pressure on. And Georgia, by the way, and I know that President Trump and Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, have had their disagreements, to say the least, in the past, though they did patch things up for 2024. But I've always, and go back and watch the shows, I've always praised Governor Kemp for what he did to Antifa and the Antifa networks following the Stop Cop City riots and attacks. Remember we were calling them Treehouse Antifa? When they were attacking, they were in the forests, they were laying siege, they were firing, they were violent, they were fatal in some cases in these attacks. It was happening over and over. And what did Brian Kemp do? Not only did the Georgia police arrest all of the people who were involved, they opened up a RICO investigation. They opened up that RICO investigation and they were going after financiers. They were going after people who were involved in the conspiracy. They were going after anyone who was involved, the people who were donating. They rolled it all up and they continued and pushed further and further and further. That is the blueprint. So you take the Georgia Antifa RICO case and you make that the blueprint nationwide. It's very simple. You make that nationwide, and that's your predicate. That's your probable cause right there. It needs to be done because they're going to keep killing people. All right? They just are. I hate it. Wish I didn't have to do this. But guess what? It's all real, folks. And we don't have to ask anymore. We don't have to ask anymore. How bad could it get? We don't. Because we know what happens. They will show up on your way to work on top of a roof, and they will etch anti-ICE into their bullets. And they'll wait. And they'll wait. And once they have you in their crosshairs, they'll open fire. And they might miss and hit detainees like happened in that situation. But do you really want to roll those dice? Do you really want to wait until more bullets are flying? Or they'll wait until you have a campus event. And they'll let you take a few questions, let you get comfortable, let you wait in, and then that's it. It's a real situation, and our federal law enforcement do not need to face this. It is a crime, what is going on, an absolute crime. And this is the issue that we're fighting back against. This is the issue that we need to stand strong on. Not just for federal law enforcement, but by the way, there were detainees who were even killed, by the way. I don't see anyone on the left talking about that. Did Jimmy Kimmel say anything about them? A violent leftist killed a bunch of detainees. It wasn't the right. It wasn't MAGA. Remember, he was trying to blame MAGA? No. But I don't see anyone on the left who cares. They'll go all the way down to El Salvador for Abrego Garcia, this human trafficker. But when it comes to a couple of detainees who get killed in cold blood by a leftist, silence. Absolute silence.